Welcome to Product Leadership for Enterprise, Acing the Deloitte PM interview. Your startup experience has given you agility and rapid iteration skills, but Deloitte interviews demand strategic thinking that connects product decisions to enterprise P&L impact. Today's consulting firms don't just want product builders, they need product leaders who can navigate complex stakeholder matrices, justify investments through outcome-driven KPIs, and influence without authority across global teams. This course transforms your startup skills into enterprise excellence, specifically targeting the competencies Deloitte evaluates: strategic KPI management, stakeholder influence, and demonstrable business impact. Through research-backed frameworks and Deloitte-specific case studies, you'll master the integrated skill set that separates senior PM candidates from the rest. By the end, you'll confidently tackle their multi-stage interview process with the strategic mindset they value. This course is structured around 3 critical modules that mirror Deloitte's evaluation framework. Module 1, Mastering Outcome. Driven KPIs teaches you to differentiate outputs from outcomes, apply frameworks like AARRR and HEART, and crucially, connect KPIs to P&L statements using Deloitte's 5-dimensional value framework: financial, customer, process, workforce, and purpose. Module 2, Advanced Viability and User Centricity covers lean experimentation design adapted for enterprise constraints, continuous feedback integration into complex agile workflows, and strategic communication of insights to influence product roadmaps. Module 3, Leading Through Influence at Scale, addresses stakeholder alignment across matrixed organizations, audience-tailored communication strategies, and evangelizing continuous improvement cultures. Each module includes Deloitte-specific case studies and workshops that directly prepare you for their interview scenarios. This progression builds from measurement mastery to validation expertise to leadership influence, exactly the competency arc Deloitte assesses in senior PM candidates through case studies, technical rounds, and behavioral interviews. Here's the fundamental distinction that separates startup PMs from enterprise leaders: outputs versus outcomes. The situation in startup environments is clear. You celebrate shipping 5 features this sprint, deploying new code, or launching that dashboard. These are outputs, tangible deliverables you can count and measure. The complication emerges in enterprise consulting, where executives ask different questions. Did those features drive measurable business changes? Did client retention increase by 15%? Did operational efficiency improve? These are outcomes, the behavioral and business changes your product creates. The question becomes, how do you shift from delivery-focused to impact-focused thinking? The answer lies in understanding that outcomes measure the value your product generates for the business. When you can demonstrate that your product decisions led to 20% higher client satisfaction or 2M in cost savings, you're speaking the language Deloitte values. This distinction forms the foundation of strategic product thinking that consulting firms evaluate in case studies. Let's explore the strategic implications of outcome-driven thinking. The situation in startup environments emphasizes speed and iteration. Ship fast, learn fast, pivot fast. This works when you're building for product market fit with limited resources. The complication emerges in enterprise consulting, where every product decision requires measurable ROI and stakeholder buy-in across complex organizational structures. The question becomes, how do you adapt your startup agility to enterprise accountability? The answer requires prioritizing outcomes like revenue growth, cost reduction, and client satisfaction over outputs like feature velocity or deployment frequency. At Deloitte, when you propose a new product capability, stakeholders immediately ask, what's the business case? How does this drive client value? What's the projected impact on our consulting revenue? This isn't about slowing down. It's about channeling your startup energy toward outcomes that matter to enterprise stakeholders. Your ability to connect product decisions to business outcomes becomes your competitive advantage. Instead of saying, we shipped the analytics dashboard, you say, the dashboard reduced client reporting time by 40%, increasing satisfaction scores and enabling 15% more billable consulting hours. Now you need adapted frameworks for enterprise KPI selection. The situation is that traditional consumer frameworks like AARR and HEART exist, but they weren't designed for B2B consulting environments. The complication is that applying these frameworks without adaptation misaligns your measurement strategy with enterprise business objectives and client co-creation processes. The question becomes, how do you adapt these frameworks for consulting contexts? The answer requires understanding Deloitte's research on enterprise measurement. Traditional AARR, acquisition, activation, retention, referral, revenue, needs adaptation for B2B environments where acquisition might mean client engagement expansion and referral becomes internal stakeholder advocacy. Similarly, heart happiness, engagement, adoption, retention, task success must incorporate enterprise complexity like multi-user workflows and organizational change management. Deloitte's approach integrates these with co-creation elements, measuring not just user satisfaction but collaborative value creation with clients. The key insight is that enterprise frameworks must account for longer sales cycles, multiple decision makers, and the collaborative nature of consulting engagements. Your framework choice signals sophisticated understanding of enterprise product dynamics, demonstrating the strategic thinking Deloitte evaluates in case studies. Let's apply adapted frameworks to B2B consulting scenarios. The situation: you're managing a digital transformation platform within Deloitte's portfolio, a client analytics solution used by Fortune 500 companies implementing enterprise software. The complication: standard consumer metrics don't capture the collaborative, multi-stakeholder nature of enterprise implementations. The question: which adapted framework guides your measurement strategy? The answer: modified heart integrated with Deloitte's 5-dimensional value framework. Happiness measures client satisfaction across multiple user roles, executives, analysts, and end users. Engagement tracks collaborative usage patterns and co-creation activities between client teams and Deloitte consultants. Adoption monitors organizational change management success and feature utilization across business units. Retention measures contract renewals and engagement expansions. Task success evaluates completion rates for complex, multi-step enterprise workflows. This HEART adaptation directly ties to Deloitte's financial, customer, process, workforce, and purpose value dimensions. When you can demonstrate that improving task success from 70% to 85% correlates with 12% higher client retention and 18% increase in follow-on consulting engagements, you're connecting product improvements to consulting revenue. Exactly the type of strategic thinking Deloitte evaluates. Here's where enterprise PM skills truly differentiate: mapping KPIs to P&L using Deloitte's methodology. The situation is that most PMs track metrics in isolation: retention rates, engagement scores, task completion percentages. The complication is that executives need financial justification for every product investment, especially in consulting where billable hours and client value directly drive revenue. The question becomes, how do you build the value chain from KPIs to specific P&L line items? The answer requires applying Deloitte's 5-dimensional framework systematically. Take client retention. A 10% improvement in platform task success reduces client churn by 5%, which preserves 2M in annual consulting revenue and saves $300K in new client acquisition costs. That's direct financial impact. Or consider engagement. Higher collaborative usage correlates with expanded consulting engagements, increasing average client value by 18%. That's customer value driving revenue growth. Process improvements through better workflows reduce delivery time by 20%, improving operating margins. Workforce satisfaction from easier tools increases consultant productivity by 12%. This multi-dimensional approach transforms you from a feature manager to a business strategist. In Deloitte interviews, when they present case studies about product investment decisions, Your ability to connect proposed metrics to financial outcomes across all 5 dimensions demonstrates the integrated thinking they value most. Let's see P&L mapping in action with a concrete example. The situation: you need to present product investment recommendations for a client analytics platform to Deloitte's senior leadership team. The complication: they have limited time and need clear financial justification for resource allocation across multiple competing priorities. The question: how do you structure your pitch for maximum impact using the 5 dimensional framework? The answer lies in crafting multi-dimensional narratives that lead with financial impact. Start with the financial hook. This platform enhancement will generate 3.2 M in additional consulting revenue over 18 months. Then provide the customer evidence. By improving client dashboard task success from 75% to 90%, will increase client satisfaction by 25%, leading to expanded consulting engagements averaging 180K additional revenue per client. Add process impact. Streamlined workflows reduce consultant delivery time by 20%, improving project margins. Include workforce benefits. Easier tools increase consultant productivity by 12%. Enhance client outcomes. Strengthen our digital transformation leadership position. This structured approach. Financial impact. Time to set up our B2B workshop scenario. The situation: imagine you're consulting on Deloitte's Creative Edge platform, a digital innovation tool used by Fortune 500 companies for collaborative product development and creative problem solving. The complication: current metrics show concerning trends. Only 60% of client teams complete their innovation sprints, and satisfaction scores average 3.2 out of 5. Additionally, follow-on consulting engagements from platform users are 30% below target. The question: how do you diagnose the problem and recommend KPI improvements using outcome-driven thinking? The answer requires applying everything we've covered, distinguishing between outputs and outcomes, selecting appropriate adapted frameworks, and connecting improvements to P&L impact across Deloitte's 5 dimensions. This workshop will test your ability to think strategically under pressure, exactly what Deloitte evaluates in case study interviews. You'll need to rapidly assess the situation, choose your measurement approach, justify your framework selection, and connect recommendations to financial impact. This mirrors the real-world challenges you'll face as a senior PM in consulting environments where client success directly impacts consulting revenue and reputation. Now for hands-on KPI selection and justification. The situation: you have 10 minutes to analyze the Creative Edge platform challenges and recommend a comprehensive KPI strategy. The complication: multiple stakeholders are watching. Engineering wants technical metrics, sales wants conversion numbers, and executives want P&L impact across all 5 value dimensions. The question: how do you satisfy all stakeholders while maintaining strategic focus? Here's your approach. First, identify this as a collaborative innovation challenge requiring adapted hard framework. Map happiness to multi-role satisfaction, clients, consultants, end users, engagement to collaborative sprint participation and co-creation activities, adoption to organizational innovation culture, integration, retention to platform renewal and expansion rates, and task success to innovation sprint completion with actionable outcomes. Next, connect to P&L using the 5 dimensional framework. Improving task success from 60% to 85% could reduce consultant support costs by 400K annually. Process: increase client satisfaction, driving 25% more follow-on engagements. Customer: and enhance Deloitte's innovation leadership reputation. Financial impact: 2.1 M additional revenue. Workforce: 15% consultant productivity improvement. Present this as framework rationale, specific KPI targets, and multi-dimensional P&L projections. This structured approach demonstrates the integrated strategic thinking Deloitte values in senior PM candidates. Excellent work mastering outcome-driven KPIs. You've learned to distinguish outputs from outcomes, adapt consumer frameworks like AARRR and HEART for B2B consulting environments, and most critically, connect metrics to P&L impact using Deloitte's 5 dimensional value framework: financial, customer, process, workforce, and purpose. Through the Creative Edge workshop, you've practiced rapid KPI selection and justification under pressure, demonstrating the integrated strategic thinking that separates senior PM candidates from the rest. But measurement is only the foundation. Next, we move to Module 2, Advanced Viability and User Centricity, where you learn to design low-cost lean experiments adapted for enterprise constraints, integrate continuous feedback into complex agile workflows, and communicate insights strategically to influence product roadmaps. These viability skills will build on your KPI mastery, creating the evidence-based approach that Deloitte values in their technical interview rounds. Ready to transform your experimentation thinking for enterprise success? Moving from measurement to validation, let's explore lean experimentation in enterprise contexts. The situation in startup environments is straightforward. You might build an MVP in 2 weeks and test with 100 users, iterating rapidly based on immediate feedback. The complication emerges in enterprise consulting environments where you face resource constraints, compliance requirements, stakeholder approval processes, and client confidentiality agreements that make traditional lean startup approaches impractical. The question becomes, how do you adapt lean experimentation for consulting firms like Deloitte while maintaining the core principle of proving assumptions before major investments? The answer lies in designing low-cost validation techniques that respect enterprise constraints. Consider approaches like Wizard of Oz testing, where you manually deliver the service experience to validate demand before building automation, or concierge MVPs, where you personally guide clients through new workflows to test usability and value proposition. At Deloitte, this might mean manually running analytics reports for 3 pilot clients to validate a new dashboard concept before investing in development. These approaches let you gather genuine user feedback and prove business viability while respecting enterprise risk management and client relationship protocols. Here's enterprise experimentation in action at Deloitte. The situation: your team hypothesizes that clients would value an AI-powered recommendation engine for their digital transformation projects, similar to Deloitte's Alpha Platform approach. The complication: building this feature would require 8 months of engineering effort and 1.2 M investment, with no guarantee of client adoption. The question: how do you test this assumption before committing significant resources? The answer: design a concierge MVP experiment using existing capabilities. Manually create personalized transformation recommendations for 5 pilot clients using current data analysis tools and consultant expertise. Deliver these recommendations through existing communication channels, client presentations, strategy sessions, and follow-up reports. Measure client engagement. Do they implement recommendations? Request additional analysis? Provide positive feedback? Track business outcomes? Do recommended actions improve their transformation metrics and satisfaction scores? After 6 weeks, you have definitive data on client value perception and willingness to pay for automated recommendations. If results prove positive, you've validated the concept with less than 2% of the development cost. If negative, you've saved significant resources while learning valuable insights about client needs and preferences. Now let's tackle feedback integration in enterprise agile workflows. The situation: enterprise organizations have complex, multi-team agile processes with dependencies across business units, geographies, and client engagements. The complication: traditional agile feedback loops designed for single teams don't scale to enterprise complexity, leading to delayed insights, misaligned development priorities, and missed opportunities for continuous improvement. The question: how do you embed continuous user feedback into enterprise-scale agile workflows without disrupting existing processes? The answer requires implementing dual-track agile with systematic discovery loops. Track 1 focuses on delivery, your traditional development sprints with established velocity and commitments. Track 2 focuses on discovery, continuous user research, feedback collection, and validation activities running parallel to development work. In Deloitte's context, this means having dedicated discovery sprints where you're constantly testing assumptions with clients, gathering usability feedback from multiple user roles, and validating feature concepts before they enter the delivery pipeline. These insights feed directly into delivery track planning through structured handoff processes, ensuring development stays aligned with evolving user needs and business objectives. The key is creating systematic touchpoints where discovery insights influence delivery decisions without disrupting sprint commitments or client deliverables. Synthesized insights mean nothing without roadmap inference capability. The situation, you've conducted thorough usability testing and identified critical user experience issues that need addressing for client success. The complication, product roadmaps are often locked months in advance, with engineering teams focused on previously committed features and stakeholders resistant to scope changes. The question, how do you structure insights to actually influence product priorities and drive roadmap adjustments? The answer requires using data-driven narratives that tie insights directly to business outcomes and stakeholder value. Structure your influence using the SCQA framework. Start with situation. Our Q3 usability testing with 50 enterprise clients revealed consistent workflow friction in the analytics module. Move to complication. These friction points correlate with 23% lower task completion rates and 15% reduced client satisfaction scores, directly impacting renewal likelihood. Present the question, how do we address these critical issues while maintaining our current development timeline and commitments? Deliver the answer. By prioritizing 3 specific UX improvements, we can increase task completion to industry benchmarks, potentially improving client retention by 8%. Outstanding progress on advanced viability and user centricity. You've mastered lean experimentation, adapted for enterprise constraints, learned to integrate continuous feedback through dual-track agile workflows, and developed the ability to communicate insights strategically using SCQA frameworks to influence product roadmaps. These skills build directly on your Module 1 KPI mastery. Your experiments now validate outcome, focused hypotheses, your feedback loops inform metric improvements, and your roadmap influence connects user insights to P&L impact. But individual excellence isn't enough in enterprise environments. Next, we tackle Module 3, Leading Through Influence at Scale, where you learn to align stakeholders across complex matrix organizations, communicate strategies effectively to diverse audiences, and evangelize continuous improvement cultures within established consulting environments. These influence skills will integrate with your measurement and viability expertise, creating the complete leadership capability that Deloitte evaluates in their behavioral interviews. Ready to master the art of influence without authority? Welcome to the Ultimate Enterprise PM Challenge, Leading Through Influence in Matrix Organizations. The situation, unlike startups, where you might have direct authority over your team, enterprise consulting firms like Deloitte operate through complex matrix structures where team members report to multiple managers across different business units, geographies, and client engagements. The complication. This creates alignment challenges where your success depends on influencing people you don't directly manage, often with competing priorities, conflicting incentives, and different performance metrics. The question, how do you navigate these matrix dynamics to achieve product outcomes when traditional authority-based leadership doesn't apply? The answer starts with systematic stakeholder mapping using power interest analysis. Map each stakeholder by their influence level, high or low power to affect your product success, and their interest level, high or low investment in your outcomes. High power, high interest stakeholders become your champions. Invest heavily in their engagement and leverage their influence. High power, low interest are key players to convert through value demonstration. Low power, high interest become your advocates and information sources. Low power, low interest require minimal attention unless circumstances change. This mapping guides your influence strategy, helping you prioritize relationship investment and tailor your approach to each stakeholder's motivations, constraints, and decision-making authority. Let's apply stakeholder mapping to real conflict resolution. The situation. You're managing a client analytics platform where the European business unit wants advanced forecasting features for their manufacturing clients, while the North American unit prioritizes real time reporting capabilities for their financial services clients. Both units have equal influence, limited development resources exist, and the global product roadmap is stalled by this disagreement. The complication, traditional authority based decision making doesn't work. You need consensus among equals with different client needs and regional priorities. The question: how do you use stakeholder mapping to facilitate resolution and move forward? The answer: apply your power interest analysis to identify alignment opportunities beyond surface disagreements. Both units share high interest in client satisfaction, revenue growth, and competitive positioning, even though they disagree on future priorities. Use this shared interest as common ground for collaborative problem solving. Facilitate a workshop where both units map their future requests to client impact metrics and business outcomes. Often, you'll discover that advanced forecasting and real time reporting both address the same underlying client need: faster, more accurate decision making capabilities. This reframing opens collaborative solution paths, perhaps a phased approach, hybrid feature set, or unified analytics framework that serves both regional needs while maintaining development efficiency. Effective metrics leadership requires sophisticated audience, tailored communication strategies. The situation: you need to communicate the same product strategy to diverse stakeholders. Technical teams who want implementation details and architecture decisions, sales teams who need competitive positioning and client benefits, and executives who focus on P&L impact and strategic advantage. The complication: using the same message for all audiences leads to confusion, disengagement, and misalignment, ultimately undermining your influence effectiveness. The question: how do you adapt your communication while maintaining message consistency and strategic coherence? The answer lies in the communication pyramid model. At the top, craft your core strategic message, the fundamental value proposition and business impact that stays consistent across all audiences. In the middle layer, develop audience-specific supporting details that resonate with each group's priorities, expertise, and decision-making criteria. At the base, provide implementation specifics tailored to each stakeholder's role and responsibilities. For executives, lead with ROI projections, competitive advantage, and strategic positioning. For technical teams, emphasize architecture decisions, implementation timelines, and technical feasibility. For sales teams, focus on client benefits, competitive differentiation, and market positioning. This pyramid ensures message consistency while respecting audience needs and maximizing understanding, buy-in, and action across diverse enterprise stakeholders. Here's the communication pyramid in action with a realistic scenario. The situation: you're rolling out a new API first product architecture strategy across Deloitte's digital services portfolio to improve client solution delivery and development efficiency. The complication: you need buy-in from C-suite executives, engineering teams, and client-facing consultants, each with different concerns, expertise levels, and decision-making criteria. The question: how do you craft messages that resonate with all three audiences while maintaining strategic consistency and driving unified action? The answer: apply the pyramid model systematically. Core message consistent across all. API first architecture accelerates client value delivery while reducing development costs and improving scalability. Executive version: this architectural shift will reduce time to market by 40.2 additional revenue annually while cutting development costs by 25%. Competitive advantage comes from faster client solution deployment and improved service integration capabilities. Engineering version: API first enables microservices architecture, improving system scalability and team autonomy. Implementation involves containerization, service mesh adoption, and CI/CD pipeline optimization over 6 months with defined milestones. Consultant version: clients benefit from faster feature delivery, easier integrations with their existing systems, and improved solution flexibility, enhancing satisfaction and expanding engagement opportunities. Each message serves the same strategy but speaks directly to audience priorities, expertise, and motivations. The ultimate influence challenge: evangelizing continuous improvement culture in established organizations. The situation: large enterprises like Deloitte have successful existing processes and established ways of working that have driven decades of growth and client success. The complication: these same processes can create resistance to change even when improvement opportunities are clear and beneficial, because success breeds comfort with the status quo. The question: how do you foster innovation and continuous improvement without threatening organizational stability or undermining confidence in proven approaches? The answer requires strategic culture evangelism through celebration, education, and example setting. First, celebrate existing wins. Identify current practices that already embody continuous improvement and publicly recognize teams demonstrating innovation. This builds on organizational strengths rather than criticizing weaknesses. Second, share learnings broadly. When experiments succeed, document and disseminate insights across the organization through case studies, presentations, and success stories. Create internal examples showing how continuous improvement drives client value and business results. Third, led by example, consistently demonstrate improvement mindset in your own work, making your process visible and results measurable. This approach aligns with Deloitte's innovation trends and client transformation methodologies. The key is positioning continuous improvement not as criticism of current state, but as evolution toward even greater success and competitive advantage. Exceptional work mastering influence at scale. You've learned to navigate matrix organizations through systematic stakeholder mapping, communicate strategies effectively using the pyramid model for diverse audiences, and evangelize continuous improvement cultures through celebration and example setting. These influence skills complete your transformation from startup PM to enterprise leader. Your Module 1 KPI Mastery provides the measurement foundation for influence. You can back every recommendation with outcome-focused data. Your Module 2 Viability Skills provide the evidence base for influence. Your experiments and insights give you credible proof points for stakeholder conversations. Now your Module 3 Influence Capabilities allow you to drive adoption and change at scale. You can align stakeholders, communicate effectively, and build improvement cultures. This integrated capability system, measurement, validation, and influence creates the complete leadership profile that Deloitte evaluates in their comprehensive interview process. You're no longer just a product manager. You're a product leader ready to drive enterprise transformation. Let's conclude by connecting these integrated skills directly to Deloitte's interview success and your career advancement. Let's synthesize your complete transformation through the integrated PM leadership flywheel you've built. Module 1 created your measurement foundation. You now distinguish outputs from outcomes. Apply adapted KPI frameworks like AARRR and HEART for B2B contexts. And most critically, connect metrics to P&L impact using Deloitte's 5-dimensional value framework. Module 2 built your viability expertise. You design low-cost lean experiments adapted for enterprise constraints, integrate continuous feedback into complex agile workflows through dual-track approaches, and communicate usability insights strategically to influence product roadmaps. Module 3 developed your influence leadership. You navigate matrix stakeholder dynamics through systematic mapping, tailor communication strategies using the pyramid model for diverse audiences, and evangelize continuous improvement cultures through celebration and example. These aren't separate skills. They form an integrated capability flywheel. Your KPI mastery enables data-driven experimentation. Your experimentation insights fuel stakeholder influence conversations. Your influence capabilities drive organizational adoption of measurement and improvement practices. This flywheel effect multiplies your impact exponentially, transforming you from a startup PM focused on delivery into an enterprise product leader driving strategic business outcomes. Your integrated skills directly map to Deloitte's comprehensive interview evaluation framework. Module 1's KPI Mastery prepares you for case study interviews where you'll analyze business scenarios, select appropriate metrics using adapted frameworks, and justify product investments through multi-dimensional P&L connections. When Deloitte presents a client challenge requiring product strategy, you'll confidently apply AARR or HEART adaptations while articulating financial impact across their 5 value dimensions, exactly what they're evaluating. Module 2's viability and user centricity skills prepare you for technical rounds, where they assess your ability to design enterprise appropriate experiments, integrate feedback systematically, and influence roadmaps through data-driven narratives. You'll demonstrate sophisticated thinking about enterprise constraints while maintaining user focus, a critical balance Deloitte values in senior consultants. Module 3's Influence Leadership directly addresses behavioral interviews where they evaluate stakeholder management, communication effectiveness across diverse audiences, and culture building capabilities. Your systematic stakeholder mapping and pyramid communication examples will differentiate you from candidates who only understand startup environments. This course hasn't just taught you enterprise PM skills. It specifically prepared you for Deloitte's multifaceted evaluation process with concrete frameworks, examples, and strategic thinking approaches they seek in senior product management roles. Your transformation from startup PM to enterprise leader is complete. Now it's time for focused interview preparation and career advancement. First, practice KPI workshops using the adapted frameworks you've learned. Take real business scenarios and work through outcome identification, framework adaptation, and 5-dimensional P&L connection exercises. This builds the analytical confidence Deloitte evaluates in case studies. Second, simulate lean experiments for enterprise contexts. Design concierge, MVPs, and dual-track feedback integration plans for complex products, practicing the viability thinking that differentiates senior PMs from feature managers. Third, role-play stakeholder influence scenarios. Practice your power interest mapping, pyramid communication messaging, and culture evangelism techniques with realistic matrix organization challenges. Finally, research Deloitte-specific case studies, transformation methodologies, and recent client successes. Understanding their 5-dimensional value framework and alpha platform approach will help you speak their language during interviews. Your startup agility, now enhanced with enterprise strategic thinking and integrated leadership capabilities, positions you perfectly for senior consulting roles. The frameworks you've mastered, the examples you can cite, and the flywheel system you've built will set you apart from other candidates. You're ready to ace the Deloitte PM interview and excel in enterprise product leadership.